Hey guys, you coughed at the same time as my intro. I'm keeping that in, all right? Hey guys,
sorry,
welcome back to
it's been a long day. It's 11:23. We're getting a bot to record this because we can't figure out how to use Audacity like the boomers we are.
Or OBS.
Let's just start.
Hello guys, welcome back to Pixel Juice. It's Sam and James here. Here to talk about some stuff really that's going on in the world. I think it's been a year and a half, isn't it, James, since our last episode?
I think it's, I was Googling this before. I think we recorded it in 2018, mate.
Oh my god, really? I might load it up as well.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how many of our things, because we've made some predictions about like the Super Nintendo, Mini, all this other stuff.
Did the Nintendo 64 Classic come into fruition?
That's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was. No, it didn't. It didn't ever actually happen.
Oh.
And so that's one of our things that didn't happen. The other thing that didn't happen was the none of that's come to the Switch Online Network either. So we're also going to discuss some other bits and bobs that have been happening. Obviously, since our last video, there's been the little thing of a global pandemic.
The little thing.
The sweat the land.
Yeah, just that minor little incident. Which is
you might have heard about it in the news. So, with that in mind, James, how's it been going since our last episode of having a chat?
What, like just in general, or like since the pandemic, or?
No, since the last episode of having a chat.
Right, yeah. Sorry.
So that would be. I'm having a look now. Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah, oh my god. Oh boy. Wow. We really jumped the shark on that one. Remember how like happy we were that we finally recorded the first episode, and we were like, yeah, let's come back, let's do this again next week. And no, it's 2021 now, mate.
2021. We want to talk about the important things in life on this show, really, don't we? On having a chat.
Only the important stuff.
Games and pop culture. Although weirdly, obviously, the movie industry is kind of pretty much feels like it's stopped. There's still games coming out. And we'll talk about a few of them in a minute. But
I watched a movie in like a year, mate. I don't like what are movies? What's even out? What is even out? Like the Marvel?
I don't know.
I'm sure Marvel's getting something out, aren't they?
I don't actually know anymore. I mean, a lot of stuff's coming out obviously on streaming instead. Apparently, Wonder Woman came out recently. The sequel apparently it's disappointing compared to the first one. But to be honest with you, I never saw the original one, even though it's supposed to be good. I
didn't even know there was a first one. Oh wait, hang on. No, that was the one, the Wonder Woman 1980, right?
No, that's the new one.
Oh, right.
I think.
So
oh my god, we're completely out of the loop.
Yeah, I do miss that, to be honest.
Yeah, I do as well. And that's the kind of weird thing, isn't it? It's like, you think about sort of some of the previous videos on the channel where like Jordan, Luke and I like reviewing movies in the cinema and stuff, and you get weirdly nostalgic for it now because over the last year everything's just been shut. And I know they opened up again in the UK for a little bit, but it was like kind of like what was there to see? They were just showing reruns of old movies. And what do you think about cinemas now? I mean, do you think they've got long left with everything going on? It's a pretty depressing conversation in a way because, I love a trip to the cinema. I always have done, but obviously now everyone's starting to put movies on streaming services instead. You've got Disney experimenting with that. They did that with Mulan and charged like 30 quid for the privilege of watching it at home on top of the subscription fee. But do you reckon they're all going to go down this route? Because I hope not. Because I know they're playing with, it's going to be a dual release in the cinema and at home, and it makes sense for now. But, I guess as far as the studios are concerned, they don't really care about cinemas existing or not, as long as they get the movie in people's, homes, and as long as people pay to watch it, they don't really care.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I hope not, but I could definitely foresee it. But there's something about it people like, going out, socializing, sitting in a...
It should be an experience, shouldn't it? Like,
Yeah, paying what, £5 for the Premier seats, and the Premier seats are absolute shite.
Yeah, VIP, like torn.
When we went to see It Chapter 2, we were the only two people in the whole cinema because we went to see it at 10:30. And so we just moved to the premium seats, and no one came out to stop us because there was only two of us.
Yeah, and you're going to have a teenager stop you. Teenager, please, Mr. May, Mr. James, please move.
Please come out the chair. You didn't pay for it.
You didn't pay the extra 15 quid.
Yeah, no, I think cinemas aren't going to survive unless something
doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like it. God knows when they're going to reopen again, because both of us in the UK, God knows when they're going to open again. And it is weird. Like, I've really been out of the loop in the films and stuff. We'll talk a bit about, I don't know if you've been watching any... I watched WandaVision recently, which is like one of the only sort of... I mean, Mandalorian Series 2 was really good. actually, and obviously WandaVision's out now, and that's really quite interesting, actually, and quite refreshing considering a lot of the Marvel films that are coming out in the cinema, were all kind of getting a bit samey.
Yeah,
it kind of feels like where'd you go after Endgame, but this is quite good. But apart from that, I've not really seen any movies. So let's talk about shows, I guess. Then, have you seen any of the new stuff? Like, do you see Mandalorian? Have you?
I used to be a Star Wars fan as a kid, but now I can't really be arsed with it. I don't like it. I didn't like the new Star Wars movies from Disney.
Yeah,
and I don't see why I like The Mandalorian, truth be told.
The Mandalorian is a much, much better put together piece of storytelling and everything than those last three films, which are just cobbled together for money. They were really bad films. I think. Do you know what? Actually, that would be the last film I saw in the cinema. Would have been The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, that's depressing.
Which I cringed. Yeah. That could be, if they close forever, could be the final film I ever seen in the cinema. Is The Rise of Skywalker. Fantastic. That's a depressing film. That was just like I was cringing the entire way through that film because it was just bad. Like it was
first one. I couldn't be arsed. I just knew they were going to be bad. To me, Star Wars was a fine tale. And as someone who was a kid when the prequel came out, I know I'm being a bit hypocritical saying this, but obviously I was a kid, so I love them movies. But now as an adult, and I see these new Star Wars movies, my nephew likes them, but I'm sure as hell not going to like them in the same way my parents like the prequels.
The prequels are at least interesting in that they sort of told a completely different story to the originals. The new films are just retreading where the original trilogy sort of went, and there's no reason for them to exist, if you know what I mean. They don't do anything different. They don't really tell any new stories. They're just there to make Disney some cash. We never talked about it on the channel, obviously, because we just didn't get a chance.
A lot of things
back in 2019.
The channel didn't talk about, really. I mean,
there's been a whole bunch of stuff. We'll catch up on this video. That's why it's going to be the 3-hour special.
If we're being 100% realistic, you uploaded a video called "Where Have We Been?" Uploaded a Flight Simulator 2020 video, a prediction on Xbox Scarlet, and then called it a day. So,
and also, even worse, the Xbox Scarlet and the Flying Simulator thing were snippets of the "Where Have We Been?" video.
You can't be serious.
Yeah, they are. So pretty much the last video on the channel is "Where Have We Been? The Truth."
This is ridiculous. I want my money back.
I know. Whenever we do come back, we do take the piss out ourselves for it, because it's always a case of going, we're back, we're going to make some videos, we're going to do it, and then
well, what we can do officially now is put the rumors of Project Scarlet to rest, since the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox One actually came out.
True. So yeah, we can catch up on that. Xbox was Project Scarlet. That wasn't the new consoles, was it? Yes, it is. Yeah, holiday 2020 must be.
Yeah, because the Xbox One X would have been out by the time Project Scarlet was going around.
Wow, there we go. And then they ended up calling it the Xbox Series X.
The stupidest name I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was dumb. That is dumb. I mean, moving on from movies, because there's literally nothing to talk about.
Yeah, stop movies.
There's literally nothing to talk about. That's dying on its ass. The games industry then, over the last year, we've got a lot to catch up on, James. On having a chat, not a podcast. He's having a chat. Have you had to go with any of the new generation consoles yet? Or are you interested? Are you interested in them in the slightest? PlayStation 5.
Okay. I'll be honest. Like I say, for me, I've always been a Microsoft kind of guy. I still say that, even though I play primarily the PlayStation 4. But growing up, I had the PlayStation 1, then I went to the Xbox original, then I went to the Xbox 360, and then I went to the Xbox One. But again, the PlayStation 5 to me just looks like the better console this generation.
I agree. Yeah.
And look, every game you can get on the Xbox, you can get on the PC. So I'm not really sure, unless you don't have a powerful PC, why you would get an Xbox really. But the PS5, you've got Demon's Souls. You've already got a Resident Evil demo, which we're gonna have to get onto. Yes, You've got them controllers, which it's the first evolution in a controller with those triggers for the first time in years. So yeah, I don't really see a competition here. I still see the PS5 as the kingpin. But I haven't been able to get one because, well, one, I'm skint, and two, you can't really get them. Sold out everywhere.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like whenever I look at the Xbox Series X has exactly the same user interface apparently as the
it does,
the Xbox One and whatever else. You're like, well, that makes it feel like an old thing. You just bought a new box, new hardware, which is great, but at the same time, You don't have new menus. I mean, it sounds really lame, doesn't it? It sounds really sad, but you don't have new menus to kind of like figure out. You don't have a new thing to look at. So it would just feel like you've got the same machine. With
I think cosmetics matter though, because I was getting really hyped to see what the PlayStation 5 UI looked like.
Well, they did. They hyped it up, didn't they? Literally hyped up a menu system. I mean, the PlayStation 5 has a lot going for it, like you said, about the controller being an upgrade, all the sort of feedback stuff, and it does look really cool. And even though it's more expensive, I'm with you. I think the PlayStation 5 is the one that I'm going to go for when it's worth getting. And I mean, like I say, when you can actually get it, but also, you know, there's some good games. I mean, I want to play through Demon Souls and the Miles Morales Spider-Man game, whatever else. But it's just not worth it at the beginning, is it? Because there's not enough games to justify it yet. You know, the price is going to go down. You know.
I mean, yeah, you can wait. I mean, the most recent, in terms of games, the most recent game I've been playing has been Resident Evil 5. So, I mean,
yeah, true.
Yeah, I'm in no rush to play any modern games. The only game I really wanted to play was Hitman 3. And, but again, I'm skint, so I can't really afford anything right now. But,
I think a lot of people are probably in the same position. I mean, I'm not. I've played through some games over the last year. I've actually had some time to play through some stuff, but again, it's not all new stuff. Like, it's not gonna. I'm so such a cheapskate, right? I love the Dark Souls series, as we've joked about loads of times on the channel. I love Bloodborne, but I want to play through Sekiro. It's been out for 2 years.
Oh yeah, Sekiro. I keep forgetting about Sekiro.
I refuse to pay the price for that game. I'm always there on the PlayStation 4 store going, oh, deals are on, it's a New Year's sale. Sekiro still 38 quid, not paying that, young man.
Well, you just pop down CX, but oh wait,
can't do that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting we can't do that anymore.
So actually, it is a case of like, I'll play it when it gets cheaper. So I'll be there, a bit like in The Simpsons when Bart watches the Itchy and Scratchy movie when he's like 8 years old. You know, I'll be there playing Sekiro, going, "That's all right." It's worth saving 20 quid. But
I mean, I've also another thing with modern games is I'm starting to become a bit more harsh to them. I was recently playing Dead Rising 1. Just because I love that game, and just everything about it just screams perfect game design. And you go ahead and play Dead Rising 4, which came out a lot more recently, you're like, oh god, what is this?
It lost all of its personality, didn't it?
Dead Rising 2, I played more Dead Rising 2 as a kid than Dead Rising 1, but as an adult, going back, Dead Rising 1 is just vastly superior. The world's better, the graphics are somehow more superior. The tone, the protagonist, the psychopaths, the music, everything just screams 2006.
Yes, it's obviously a different developer. It was made in Japan, wasn't it? The original Dead Rising. Then they moved it across to Blue Castle Games or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, you're absolutely right. It's a case of, just because the games are new and we've got all this new kit and this new tech doesn't mean they're massively any better. Like I say, I've not played Dead Rising. I've given them a go, Dead Rising 2, 3, and I considered buying 4 when it's on sale, but I've heard such bad things about it. I mean, they've removed all the personality of the games. And I watched a really interesting documentary about Dead Rising 4 and how, that it went through a real bad development patch. And that's why mainly they removed all the psychopaths and stuff, because they didn't run out of time. But they've just lost their soul, haven't they? They've just
this is the thing, soul. A lot of people say soul and Kino for games now, but I mean, for Dead Rising, I think you can't have Western developers develop it because it kills it. Let me explain before I sound like a huge weeb. Pretty much, Dead Rising 1 works because it's the Japanese making a game about their version of America. So it's the version of America which is stereotypical, it's consumerist, it's stuck in this weird 50s, 90s blend, which is unexplainable. The characters are all not stereotypes, but sort of archetypes of Americans.
Yes, and that's what's funny about it.
Listen to the music, it's all just that little snapshot that we all see of television America.
It is.
Dead Rising 2 is made by Americans, about America. So it doesn't work. Dead Rising 3 is made by Americans about America, so it doesn't work. And Dead Rising 4, fuck me, don't get me started on that one. So
exactly.
I think the best games are usually by Japanese developers who are making games that are based in America or the West or something like that. even like again game design as well. Dead Rising 1 feels like a survival horror, and it feels very Resident Evil-ish. You know, you can't move and shoot. Just even stuff like that, weapons respawn. Like, yeah, it's perfect. It actually feels zombies are a threat in that one. Dead Rising 2, Dead Rising 3, Dead Rising 4,
no. But that's exactly it. I agree with all of that, and that's exactly why it's lost its being taken over by American developers made it lose its way, and hopefully, you know, kind of leads us on to talking about what Capcom are up to nowadays.
Hey,
you know, obviously the big news: Resident Evil 8, the witches, the witching hour.
Yeah.
Ooh. So. Did you play through? I actually really enjoyed 7 when I played through it, and again, it's one of the first games I think we mentioned on Pixel Juice channel, and played it in VR. Terrified me, absolutely loved it. I actually really liked the first-person view, the new mechanics in the game. The graphics look great with the Resident Evil engine. What do you think of this new one with the werewolves and whatever else lurking around?
When I saw the trailer drop, I thought it was a new Silent Hill, so I was overly top buzzing.
I could see why you probably thought that.
You know, not to be Silent Hill, but no. I enjoyed Resident Evil 7. I have to say though, I would like a return to form. Some guy made a mod where it makes the game scripted camera, you know, like in the corner and you move, and so it takes away the first person aspect. And I kind of wish that would come back, but because I'm a classic Resident Evil fan, I like my tank controls, I like my scripted scenes, I like the camera. But yeah, in terms of how it looks, I mean, it looks fantastic. If I'm being honest, graphics are great. I like, even though they're a meme, I am looking forward to learning more about the enemies in it. A certain 8-foot vampire woman, and as a 5'7" guy, oh boy, that gets me. I mean, yeah. So
what?
Pretty much. No, jokes aside. No, it honestly, it just looks really, really good. Like they've put a lot of thought into it, a lot of energy into it. It seems fresh and new, perfect to kick off the next generation of consoles.
Yeah.
So yeah, in all honesty, this game is the one that got me excited for games again. This and Demon's Souls. Yeah, it's like, oh good, we're finally getting a return, a classic, you know.
Yeah, no, I actually completely agree. I love the way, you know, it looks fantastic for one, and also each trailer they show. They've done a really good job with the marketing of this game in terms of the trailers and what they're showing at each stage, and it's building upon like the first one. So the first one is like, oh, this is a bit weird, a couple of beast werewolf things, and
now recording.
All right, thanks, Craig. Just for the listener at home, Craig, right, our handy chandy chatbot, he buggered off.
Yeah,
he just said, I'm not having any of this. I'm bored of having a chat.
You pay someone minimum wage to do a job, and they don't even do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, even better. It's pretty much slavery. He's a bot. We don't pay him anything. He just records for us.
But wife being pregnant and he had to go or something like that. But, you know, we pulled him back. We
need him back. Yeah, exactly. He's got a job to do for free. So let's make that known that he's useless. Craig, you're useless.
Absolute prick. You know, I'm trying to fucking do a podcast here.
Now let's move on. No, not a podcast. It's having a chat.
Oh, yeah, sorry, having a chat. Yeah.
It's the show where we cast our voices into people's homes.
Yes.
There's nothing about pods. There's nothing about pods. Carrying on from where we were, Resident Evil 8, again, each trailer is really cool. Loads of features in there. Loads of stuff coming back. The merchant, the briefcase.
The merchant!
Items. But yeah, the upgrade system's coming back. Right, yeah. You know, you're playing through Resident Evil 5 now, aren't you, funny enough?
Yes.
The upgrade system, right, so what I love about 5 and 4 is the upgrade system. You find currency while you're going around. You spend it on upgrades. You spend it on new items, new weapons. It really adds a lot to the game. And when they took that out of 6, it's kind of in there and kind of not. And you're like, this is lame. And then in 7, it's kind of not really there at all. There's a couple of coins you find to get some upgrades. You're like, you know,
6 is okay actually. I mean, I'm not. 6 isn't a Resident Evil game.
No. Game. I'm talking specifically about the upgrade system and stuff.
Oh right, yes. I didn't even know there was an upgrade system in 6. I can't remember the name.
That's what I mean. It's like it's forgettable. But like they're bringing back the merchant, but this time he's a fat bloke called the Duke. So that means he's been upgraded as well.
I love it. I'm really excited for it, mate. I don't know. There's something about that character that's so memorable, and then you've got this guy, and you're like, Spot.
What are you buying? What are you selling?
You best say that. That was a reference. You best do. I think it looks cool, man. I think 8's gonna be great, and it's May, isn't it? It's coming out, so it's,
I think so. Yeah, that rings a bell.
a few months. Yeah, a few months.
Mate, what are your predictions for the plot? Let's see if we can guess to the plot to Resident Evil 8.
Yeah, that's true. Chris Redfield coming back. They beefed him up again because in 7, obviously, he's spoiler alert. He's at the very, very end when he's like back to his skinny self. But people were like, no, I want my boulder punching
Chris.
beefcake back. Yeah, and so they've beefed him up again.
Very good platonic friends with Jill. Okay, there's nothing going on there.
There's nothing going on there. It's just obsessed with her. So he's taken Ethan's baby away apparently for some kind of sacrifice for the vampires. We'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's a bit of smoke and mirrors. I think they're making it look like he's a villain. Clearly he's not. He's Chris Redfield, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
But there are rumours going around and little leaks that he might die in this game. This might be the final, revamp the series.
Isn't this in a parallel universe? Because if I recall, the Umbrella logo is in Resident Evil 7, but it's a different colour.
No. So what it is, now this is where it gets confusing. Sit down, kids. Sit down for a boring look at like the different organizations in Resident Evil. No, Blue Umbrella is apparently, and this never explains this in 7 until you get to like the DLC and it kind of hints at it. They took the Umbrella name and made it good, so they rebranded it. Like the guys who are like, I think it's separate from the BSAA, separate from any of those organizations, and it's like a company dedicated to going around and undoing Umbrella's original work. So
that's they call your company like anti-Al Qaeda. Like you still got Al Qaeda in the name. It's like,
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Not the best for marketing, is it?
No, it's kind of ridiculous. Also, why couldn't it have just been the BSAA? Why do they have to make a new organization? It just confused me as well because I was like, why is that Umbrella logo blue? And when you've got like thousands of YouTubers making videos about like trying to debunk why it might be blue, like you say parallel universe, or is it Umbrella, Chris is evil working for Umbrella, and it turns out now it's just another weird Capcom Resident Evil.
We're back better than ever. Umbrella 2.
Yeah.
Minus the biological terrorism,
So here we go. I mean, let's think about the plot, like you're saying. Chris Redfield back again. He comes along, takes, as far as Ethan remembers, takes their baby, they have after 7, goes off to this weird and wonderful place, and they hint that they want the baby for some kind of sacrifice or to infect it with something, I guess, so it becomes like the new head vampire. I don't know. But clearly, if you've seen the trailers, there's the Umbrella logo a couple of times and stuff. Clearly, this is like Umbrella were doing experiments here years ago, and the vampire women aren't obviously vampires. They're just like biological experiments, as it always is.
They were having a field day when they made them, like.
Yeah, I know, they were having a lot of fun, weren't they? As they always do. They can't help themselves, can they?
Hey, buddy! What we've got given this grant for $2 billion. What do you want to make? 8-foot vampire lady. 8-foot vampire lady. Let's fucking go.
Yeah. It's like last time you said if I made Jack Baker, you said I could make the horny vampires.
Can you imagine being a top scientist for Umbrella and you come and you go, how is my fine development team working on this new zombie virus? And you just see this 8-foot vampire lady. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. It's like, seems like
the control of this experiment.
It's progressing brilliantly.
As you can see, sir.
Yeah.
Big booba. Fantastic.
Yeah. She's in like a tank, a bit like Mewtwo was in Pokemon the first movie.
I'd be fuming. I'd want everyone fired.
What do you think? Where do you think this is going to go then? This storyline. It's going to be ridiculous. Whatever happens. So.
This is my big brain guess. I think the kid is like a next generation special infected something, and I think that they're trying to get rid of the kid because it's gonna blow up into like the next bio weapon
because of Maya being captured with the Bakers, and she was like, who was she working for again? Was it Blue Umbrella or BSA or something? But she was helping smuggle the little girl essentially, wasn't she? In 7 until the girl kind of went mad and the cruise liner whoever got washed up to the Baker's house somehow. But yeah. So she has been involved in that stuff. So you're thinking that maybe because she's been, subjected to all this kind of biohazard stuff, that maybe the baby's gonna come out and be
absolute. I'm picking the new Nemesis, bro. I'm thinking like straight up, but they're gonna give it to the vampires for something. I don't know if it's for them to eat, so they get stronger or something. They decide not to kill the world. Maybe they've got like world-ending powers or some shit. And this is like a bargaining tool of, look, hey, if you just keep kidnapping men aged 20 to 40 and do what you do with them, have this kid and stop trying to destroy the world.
With women, so this is interesting. So I've seen the maiden demo. I've seen a few playthroughs of it. The maiden demo, you're playing as a woman trying to escape from their basement, and it obviously.
Oh, he plays a woman in that. Oh,
yeah, you
right.
do. And actually, as you get out, there's a note that says, pretty much failed experiments. There's a bunch of women's names, and there's another one that says like potential candidates. So what it sounds like, they've been kidnapping women and then trying to see which ones they can turn into their sisterhood, if you know what I mean, like to join those the vampire women essentially. Obviously, some people it doesn't work on. Some people it does, and they turn into vampires.
Yeah, I mean that's always a staple of Resident Evil though. Like every single memo will have like a list of names and like failed.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think it's a process of maybe the BSAA trying to keep them under wraps because maybe they've got like world-ending powers, and to do that they're kidnapping kids and giving it to them so they can join the sisterhood or not. I don't know. That
so
to
Chris
me
is there doing it for the great. Chris is there going for the greater good.
Yeah, for the greater good. Yeah, and that maybe Chris will die because Ethan will go, "How is this the greater good?" And Chris will go, "No, think about it, Ethan. Like,
I'm the true villain.
8-foot vampire bitches and,
everywhere, as far as I can see.
You can't do this." And he's like, "But think about it." And I don't know.
It's like that Wesker speech in Resident Evil 5 where he's like, "Soon you'll see a new world, Chris. The dawn is coming," and like all that stuff, and like
more like Joker. We live in a society.
Oh, man, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be mysterious. It's gonna be crazy. I'm looking forward to the game.
I think it's just going to be like a classical boogeyman style tale, and I'm looking forward to that. Plus, it looks like can my phone shut up for 10 seconds? It looks like Bloodborne as well, and anything with that Victorian.
Yeah, true. Actually, those werewolves look like they've lifted straight out of Bloodborne.
So yeah, I'm like I say, I'm very much looking. Can't say I'll play it when it comes out, obviously, money reasons. But when it comes down, I'll definitely it's definitely on my list.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna get it. 100%, no doubt. It's very rare, like you, I buy games when they first come out because I don't want to be hoodwinked. Like games like the Avengers and whatever else. So it's like, yeah, buy the game. It's not finished.
What happened? I remember that game. I don't like Avengers or.
Well, actually, that's a good point. Let's look at Cyberpunk quickly because I've never been that interested in it, to be honest with you. But obviously, on the subject of games coming out and not being finished and sort of failing hard, we've got Resident Evil 8. Coming out on new consoles, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and the old, I say old, there's most people still have the previous generation, like me. They tried that with Cyberpunk, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and it doesn't work.
They shouldn't have done it.
After all this hype, they shouldn't have done it, should they?
No, it's not rocket science. They shouldn't have wasted development time making the game for a console that we all knew from the start wouldn't be able to handle it at all.
Their argument would be, oh wait, but we've got a bigger audience on those old consoles, and if we release it just on the new generation, we won't make as much money. Let's put it frankly, that's why they're doing it, and it's fair enough. But this is a curse that happens with a lot of these games. That's kind of like in between the generations, isn't it? Like they try and develop it for two systems at once. And get excited about new things. Oh, look, because we can do this on PlayStation 5. And they realise, we can't really do it on PlayStation 4, so let's try and make balance it. And then you get the worst of both worlds.
Well, I mean, I'll defend CD Projekt Red. I think what they made on next gen and PC is a bloody good game. Not
I'm sure it is
groundbreaking, but I mean, it fulfilled the purpose I wanted. I think Night City is by far one of the best open worlds. Out there. I mean, scale and scope, you look up and there's always something going on, and when you play it in the rain, it looks fantastic. And that's from someone who's playing on the PlayStation 4 Pro. But I've seen the issues, and if anyone's going to bluntly tell me that CD Projekt Red didn't know these issues were a thing, I mean, you piss off, really. I mean, how are you developing a game and not know this is in?
Clearly did. Yeah, there's no way.
Well, it's like when you watch E3 demos and all that, like that's got to exist somewhere. It's got to be on a USB hard drive. That build of the game.
But also, you got to kind of remember those bits, I guess, is that they build those things to work as flawlessly as possible, and it's probably just like a portion of the map and stuff. It's probably not the entirety of the game. So I bet that's what happens a lot. You know, remember with the whole thing with Watch Dogs, where it's like they showed that off running on like the highest end PC you could possibly get.
That game made me stop pre-ordering games entirely. That was the last
well, that's exactly it. Even the Resident Evil showcase recently was like pre-order now to get it. It's like so much crap that they were trying to peddle off with pre-orders.
I trust
you don't need anymore.
You can't really.
No, I agree. My point is just like there's no point in pre-ordering games when you can just buy them on the PlayStation Store. They're not going to sell out. It's like that used to be. That used to be the reason. Used to be like okay, like a new big game's coming out. Like when GTA 5 first came out on the Xbox 360 and stuff. That was like a big release, and it was like, oh god, I gotta get it. And now games are so easy to come by, always on the digital store.
Well, I remember when Halo 3 ODST got announced and Halo Reach, and the first thing my dad said was, "This will be sold out if we don't pre-order it."
Yeah, exactly. So
we had to pre-order it because it would have been. You couldn't buy it digitally and download it. No one had the internet for that.
And now that's not really a problem. So all these people who pre-ordered, but I guess people who wanted a physical copy of the game, Cyberpunk, were kind of like, oh, I've got to get it now. It's gonna be so big, and it was hyped up so much. But imagine that you receive that in the post. You pop it in on Christmas morn. Oh, I can't wait to play Cyberpunk 2077. It's gonna be great. Keanu Reeves is in it. He's my favorite. And then little Jimmy puts it in, and then realizes I've been conned. It doesn't work.
Well, that's another thing, though, right, mate? This is another thing that really ticks me off with online stuff. If you bought that game regardless of what console, and you don't have internet to update it, you're not getting the game. You're getting complete unfinished mess as opposed to the unfinished mess that we've currently got.
First, day one patches. That's another problem in itself.
But that's the way every game's going these days, which sucks.
Even Nintendo, who used to say, they sort of never really sort of do it, and they've started doing it too with some of their bigger games. And I mean, just crap. It's just embarrassing in them more than anything. The whole Cyberpunk thing, and
I don't know. I feel like I'm not really bothered by it. I see people screaming their heads off.
Oh, I don't care. It's just cringeworthy, isn't it?
I mean, I didn't buy it. My mate account shares with me, so maybe I don't have that buyer's remorse. But I don't know. I feel like even if I did buy it, just go, well, okay, I'll wait for it to be patched and I'll play it when I can. But I don't really care.
No, I don't get that.
Man, it's not completely destroyed. You can still play and get fun out of it, I think.
It's interesting to talk about and look at, but I'm like, I'm not that concerned really, because I didn't buy anywhere.
Yeah.
I understand, like you're talking about buying. I completely understand if you buy a product and then it just doesn't work. Oh, it's not finished. Imagine you go to the cinema, or you order a movie or whatever else, and it's like halfway through it just like cuts to black, and it's like, oh, we'll finish it soon. Come back. There's a few scenes that don't work properly. It pauses and jutters a few places, but come back and you can't get away with it with anything else really, apart from video games.
It'll be fixed. It'll be patched, and if it's not, everyone will go nuts for Cyberpunk 2090 when that gets announced, and hopefully that one's not as bad.
We can only hope. So I think with that, let's wrap up this episode of Having a Chat, and we'll talk about new things in the world of games and whatever else. Hopefully next week, isn't it? We're going to try and do it weekly. Although,
weekly thing.
I am having a baby in the next couple of days, probably.
Hey!
So,
congrats!
Thank you very much. It's gonna be interesting. I'll have 2 then.
So that'll be what, 2 years before we upload the next video, just in case.
Probably, maybe 3. When the baby starts talking.
Yeah, 2024 Pixel Juice returns.
It's coming.
2024.
Get ready.
The next Pixel Juice video.
Oh, joking aside, we will try. Let's do this every week. So if anybody's listened to this, if anybody's out there, well then we'll be back. All right, leave your comments below. Let us know if you agree or disagree with us. If we're wankers, if you think
fight with us.
Right,
eager for bloodshed right now.
We are. We're very angry, just like everyone on Twitter. So, see you later. Follow Pixel Juice UK on Twitter. Remember to subscribe to the channel because you never know, there might be another video around the corner. And we'll see you next time.
Yes.
Bye.
Farewell.